Welcome back to the Valuable Coins HD, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today, we have an exciting topic that's sure to pique your interest, one of the most iconic and sought-after coins in American history, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This small, humble coin, which many of us have come across at some point, holds more significance and value than you might think. In this video, we'll take a closer look at why the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny is so special, what factors affect its value, and how much you could potentially sell it for. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be looking at this coin in a whole new light. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It quickly became a beloved piece of American currency, featuring the image of President Lincoln on the obverse and 2 ears of wheat on the reverse. The wheat penny design remained in circulation until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design, marking the end of an era for this iconic coin. When we talk about the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny, we're looking at a coin from the final years of the wheat series. Though it may not be as old as some of the earlier pennies from the 1900s, it holds an important place in numismatic history. And while it may not seem like much at first glance, there are several key reasons why this penny is considered valuable by collectors. First and foremost, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its worth. Most coins that have been circulating for decades have been through the hands of thousands of people, which means they're likely to show signs of wear. If you find a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny that's been well preserved, free from heavy scratches, discoloration, or any major damage, it instantly becomes more desirable. Uncirculated or mint condition coins are significantly rarer than those that have been worn down, making them much more valuable in the eyes of collectors. One of the most important factors to consider when assessing the value of a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny is its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless specimen. A coin that is graded in the mid to high 60s is considered to be in near-perfect condition and could fetch a much higher price than a coin that's in average or poor condition. For example, a 1953 wheat penny in MS65, mint state 65, or better could be worth hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars depending on the market. Now, let's talk about rarity, which is another key factor when determining a coin's value. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny was produced in large quantities by the U.S. Mint, so there are plenty of them in circulation. However, as time goes on, the number of well-preserved examples of these coins has dwindled, and the condition of surviving coins can vary greatly. This means that, while you may find many 1953 pennies, it's the coins in exceptional condition that really stand out and are worth more to collectors. If you happen to find one in pristine condition, it could be much more valuable than its face value of 1 cent. In addition to the coin's condition, the mint mark is another factor that affects its value. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at multiple U.S. Mint facilities, each of which used different mint marks. For example, if your 1953 penny has the D mint mark, it was produced in Denver, while those with an S mint mark were struck in San Francisco. Coins minted in smaller quantities or at certain locations can sometimes be more valuable, especially if they are in excellent condition. This adds another layer of complexity to determining the coin's worth, as some mint marks are rarer than others. Speaking of rarity, let's not forget about the potential for error coins. Minting errors are a collector's dream because they're so unique and hard to come by. These errors happen when something goes wrong during the minting process. Perhaps a die malfunctions or a coin gets struck incorrectly. These errors can range from double die varieties to off-center strikes or even coins with misaligned designs. If your 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny has any kind of minting error, it could be worth a lot more than a standard coin in mint condition. Error coins are often highly prized because they are one-of-a-kind pieces that cannot be replicated, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, here's the exciting part. Just how much could a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny be worth if you find one in exceptional condition? Well, while most 1953 pennies are worth just a few cents, certain ones in uncirculated or error-free conditions can be worth significantly more. In fact, Some 1953 Lincoln Wheat Pennies have been known to sell for as much as $74,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $74,000 for a single penny. This may sound unbelievable, but it's true. Coins in top-tier condition, particularly those with rare minting errors or from lower mintage years, can command huge sums on the market. Whether it's a well-preserved 1953 penny or one with a rare error, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these rarities, especially when they are in near-perfect condition. So, if you've got a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny stashed away in your collection, it might just be worth more than you think. Whether it's in mint condition, has a rare mint mark or contains a minting error, your penny could be worth a small fortune. It's always worth taking a closer look at your coins to see if there's something valuable hiding in your collection. In conclusion, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny may seem like a simple coin, but it's far more valuable than many people realize. With its rich history, varying conditions, and the potential for minting errors, this little penny could be worth a whole lot more than its 1 cent face value. So, if you happen to have one of these coins, it's definitely worth having it appraised or professionally graded, because it could be worth $74,000. Today, we're going to dive into a coin that may look like just another penny, but when you look a little closer, it's hiding a potential treasure. We're talking about the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin that has captivated the attention of collectors and numismatists alike. This seemingly ordinary penny has a lot more to offer than you might expect, so stick around as we explore why this coin might just be worth far more than its 1 cent face value. Before we jump into the specifics of the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny, let's take a brief look at its history. The Lincoln Wheat Penny has been in circulation since 1909, originally created to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The design remained in use for nearly 50 years before being replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial design. The wheat penny, as its name suggests, features 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse side, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. By 1960, the Lincoln Wheat Penny had been in circulation for over 5 decades, and although the design would soon be changed to reflect the Lincoln Memorial, this specific coin was still a part of American currency. The 1960 version holds a special place because it marks a transitional point in the history of the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Though it was part of the final run of these iconic coins, it wasn't exactly rare when it was first issued, but what sets the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny apart is its potential value for collectors today. When it comes to determining how much a coin like the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny is worth, several factors come into play. The condition of the coin is one of the most important factors that can affect its value. Coins that have been circulated over the years are likely to show signs of wear, and the more wear and tear a coin has, the lower its value will be. The surface of the coin may be scratched, discolored, or damaged from years of use. But if you happen to find a 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny in excellent condition, especially one that is uncirculated, the value can rise significantly. A coin's condition is graded using a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless specimen. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin can be to collectors. For example, a 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny in MS 65 or higher, mint state 65, could command a much higher price than a coin that's been heavily worn. Coins that are in uncirculated condition are much rarer than those that have been circulated, making them highly sought after by collectors who are looking for coins in the best possible shape. In addition to the coin's condition, another factor that can make the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny particularly valuable is the presence of any minting errors. Coins with minting errors are some of the most prized finds in the numismatic world. These errors occur during the production process, and as a result, the coin may have unusual characteristics that set it apart from the standard issue. For example, the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny has been known to have several variations that could make it more valuable. One of the most sought-after variations of the 1960 penny is the double die variety. In these cases, the image on the coin was struck twice, resulting in a doubled effect that's most noticeable in the date and lettering. This double die error is one of the most famous and desirable errors in coin collecting, and if you happen to find a 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny with this characteristic, you could be holding a coin that is worth much more than its face value. In addition to double die varieties, the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny has a few other rarities that could make it stand out in a collection. For example, some 1960 pennies were struck with an incorrect die or were misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a coin that is considered an off-center strike. These types of errors are rare and highly collectible, so if you stumble upon a 1960 penny with a unique flaw, it could be worth a significant amount more than a standard example. Let's talk about the market for the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny. While most of these coins can be found relatively easily, there is still a demand for well-preserved examples. And the better the condition, the higher the demand. Coins in near mint or uncirculated condition are becoming increasingly rare as time goes on, so collectors are always on the lookout for these prized specimens. The 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny might not have been rare when it was first issued, but as time passes and more of them are lost to circulation or damage, those that remain in excellent condition become even more valuable. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: how much could a 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny actually be worth? Well, the value of a 1960 penny can vary based on its condition, rarity, and any minting errors it might have. But, if you find a 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny in exceptional, uncirculated condition, or, better yet, one that features a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, it could be worth as much as $68,000. Yes, you heard that right, $68,000 for a single penny. Of course, this value depends on factors like the condition of the coin and whether it has any unique features or errors. But if you happen to find a 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny in top-tier condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, what should you do if you think you found a rare 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny? First, take a close look at its condition. If it appears to be in great shape with minimal wear, it's worth getting it professionally graded by a numismatic expert. This will give you an official assessment of its value, and you'll know exactly how much your coin could fetch on the market. In conclusion, while the 1960 Lincoln Wheat Penny may seem like a small and unremarkable coin, it's actually a hidden treasure for collectors. With its historical significance, the potential for minting errors, and the rarity of well-preserved examples, this penny could be worth a lot more than you'd expect. So, the next time you come across one, take a second look. It could be worth $68,000. Today, we have a fantastic coin to discuss, one that could be worth far more than its 1-cent face value. Yes, we're talking about the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance but has some serious value for the right collector. Stick around as we explore the fascinating history behind this coin, the factors that affect its worth, and how you might find yourself sitting on a small fortune if you happen to own one. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The design featured a portrait of President Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, which is why it became known as the Wheat Penny. This design remained in circulation for nearly 50 years before being replaced with the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny holds a special place in the hearts of collectors because it represents the final years of the Wheat Penny series. As the U.S. Mint transitioned to new designs, the 1950 penny stands as a bridge between the older and newer coins of the era. While it was produced in large numbers at the time, this particular penny has become quite valuable to collectors, especially in exceptional condition. Now, let's dive into why the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is worth so much more than its humble face value. Like many coins, the value of the 1950 Lincoln penny is largely determined by its condition. Over time, most pennies that were circulated have seen wear and tear, with scratches, discoloration, and other signs of use. But, the better condition the coin is in, the more valuable it becomes. If you find a 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny that's well preserved and in excellent shape, it could be worth a significant amount of money. In fact, uncirculated versions of this penny can command a much higher price on the market. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is to collectors. A 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny in mint state, MS 65 or higher, for example, would be considered highly desirable. A coin like this, without any noticeable wear or blemishes, could fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its specific condition. The rarity of well-preserved 1950 pennies is what makes them so sought after. Another factor that plays a role in the value of the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is the mint mark. The U.S. Mint produced these pennies at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins that were minted in smaller quantities or at certain mints can sometimes be more valuable. For the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, coins minted in Denver, with a D mint mark, are generally more common, while those minted in Philadelphia, with no mint mark, and San Francisco, with an S mint mark, are a bit rarer. These differences can affect the overall value of the coin, so it's important to know which mint your coin was produced at. But there's one more thing to consider: the possibility of a minting error. Coins with errors are some of the most highly prized in the world of numismatics. A minting error occurs when something goes wrong during the production process, such as an incorrectly aligned die or an off-center strike. These errors create unique and one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors are eager to add to their collections. Some of the most valuable coins are those that feature minting mistakes, and the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is no exception. If you happen to have a 1950 penny with a double die or an off-center strike, you could be holding a coin that's worth significantly more than its face value. Now that we've discussed the factors that influence the value of the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, let's talk about how much it could be worth if you find one in great condition. While most of these pennies are worth just a few cents, coins in uncirculated or near-perfect condition can be worth far more. In fact, the most valuable 1950 Lincoln Wheat Pennies can fetch prices upwards of $75,000. Yes, that's right, $75,000 for a single penny. This incredible value is reserved for coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition or those that feature rare minting errors. If you find a 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny that's been kept in perfect shape, or if you're lucky enough to stumble upon one with a rare error, you could be holding a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. Even coins that are in good condition but show minor signs of wear could still command a decent price on the market, depending on their grade. So, how can you tell if you have a valuable 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny? Start by examining the coin's condition. If it's been sitting in a coin jar for years or stashed away in a collection, it may have been well preserved. Look for any signs of wear, such as worn-out details or fading in the design. If the coin has retained sharp details and a crisp finish, it's likely to be in great shape and could be worth more than you think. Also, check the mint mark. If you have a 1950 penny with an S mint mark, it's relatively rare and could be worth more than one without a mint mark. If you spot any unique errors or irregularities in the design, you may have a true gem on your hands. Minting errors can significantly increase the value of a coin, so keep an eye out for those. If you suspect you found a valuable 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, consider getting it professionally graded by a numismatic expert. A professional evaluation will give you a better idea of the coin's true value and allow you to market it accordingly. If the coin has been well preserved and graded highly, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. To wrap it all up, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is much more than just a 1-cent coin. Thanks to its historical significance, varying conditions, and potential for rare minting errors, this penny can be worth a small fortune in the right circumstances. If you happen to have a 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny in exceptional condition, it could very well be worth $75,000. Thanks for watching today's video. If you found this information interesting and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You never know what hidden treasures might be sitting in your coin collection. Happy hunting, and we'll see you in the next video.